I'm Mark Kelly. The Fifth Estate starts now. These laboratory lungs are the testing ground in a multi-billion-dollar battle to build a safer cigarette. And at the heart of it, big tobacco. This is the residue that's left from the traditional tobacco cigarette. This is the residue that's left from the e-cigarette. Old cigarette, new cigarette. But can the people who hooked us be trusted to help us? Are you telling me that Imperial Tobacco is pro-health? It's 8 a.m. and this guy's got a busy day ahead of him. First, he's got to go save someone's life and then go up against the law.
Very extensively damaged arteries.
This heart surgeon has to undo the damage of his patient's addiction. He smoked a pack a day for 40 years.
It's quit smoking, but damage has been done. So.
And the damage is extreme. His lungs are like a coal miner's.
Almost all heavy smokers will have carbon built up in their lungs. That's that blackness in the lungs.
Dr. Gopal Bhatnagar says enough is enough.
Society's concerned about the cost of health care.
It's a lot cheaper to avoid disease than it is to treat it.
So to try to prevent more death and disease from smoking, the good doctor is now breaking bad. He opened this vape shop, selling electronic cigarettes. So doctor, here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
How does a surgeon
Right.
end up in the business of owning and running a vape store?
Well, I've seen the harm that cigarette smoking has caused and the incredible difficulty people have had trying to get off. Even after heart surgery, many people can't get off cigarettes.
You think that vaping is the solution to get people off cigarettes?
Well, for me, it's a solution that's been created by smokers for themselves because the medical paradigm has failed. We have forced...
This is what they want.
This is what they want.
You're giving people what they want inside this story right here.
They want desperately to get off cigarettes.
So what's the catch? Well, he's selling something that's considered illegal. E-cigarettes that contain nicotine. They're not approved by Health Canada, prohibited for sale.
Smokers are people. They're members of our society. They're my patients. You know, they're our family, friends, and neighbors. We just can't vilify them and say quit or die.
Instead of quit or die, smokers are being given a new option. And these people are on the front lines of it.
How you doing? Pretty good, you?
A mass movement aimed at breaking free from a deadly addiction.
My name's Mark. This is my introduction into the world of vaping. Yeah?
Bye-bye, big tobacco. These people have managed to make the switch to e-cigarettes. They're not smokers, they're vapors.
It's really smokers trying to get them to quit.
E-cigs are winning over more and more converts every day.
You want to try?
Sure. Yeah, I've never done this before. What am I doing?
Push the button and help.
Zero nicotine?
Zero.
I'm not a smoker, but I'm ready to do my homework on this.
Tastes like bubble gum.
It's a device for smokers to quit burning products into their lungs.
So it's good for me.
No, it is better than smoking. It's been around for over 10 years. I mean, nobody's died from it.
Nobody's died from it? Well, that's a claim big tobacco can't make about cigarettes. And that's the point.
Take it like this. I'm a personal trainer and I promote this.
Were you smoking cigarettes before?
7 years.
How long have you been vaping?
Year and a half now.
Do you think that this is helping you get off the cigarettes?
Ever since I started this, I was done.
In Canada alone, the e-cig business is worth about $235 million. And their big seller, products with nicotine, aren't even supposed to be for sale here.
Cold turkey. I guess that's the message here.
But this band of merry lawbreakers isn't just peddling a smoking cessation device. What they're really selling is hope.
Tobacco was killing me. This is the only product that saved my life.
And maybe it's winning over so many smokers because e-cigs were designed by smokers. So who came up with the idea? Well, it was this Chinese pharmacist and heavy smoker named Han Lik. His dad died of lung cancer. So, desperate to quit back in 2003, Han Lik dreamt up a cigarette-like device called Ruyan, meaning like smoke. His invention sparked an e-revolution. Take a look at these TV ads.
You know what the most amazing thing about this cigarette is? It isn't one.
With small startups taking on the tobacco giants.
Cigarettes, you've met your match.
As a commodity, e-cigs are both hot and cool.
Now I do the electronic cigarette.
And there's nothing cooler than late-night talk shows.
Got a bejeweled bottom.
And getting the pop culture seal of approval.
Willie, you know you can't play that torture trumpet to kids. I'll just use it to vape then.
Well, there's a better way than bagpipes. E-cigs come in different shapes and sizes. Add a flavored liquid to the device, with or without nicotine. Puffing on it triggers a heater that converts the liquid into pillows of vapor. Starter kits cost about $50. E-juice sells for roughly $20 a bottle, with tantalizing tastes like Applelicious and Sex on the Peach. What the e-cigarette doesn't have, there's no combustion, no tobacco, and none of those killer carcinogens that are created when you combine the two.
Hot chocolate?
Sure.
And that's why some people see them as the future of smoking.
All right, you ready? Buckle up, Buttercup.
People like Jen Shawalski. She started smoking when she was a teen.
My children had been on me for years to quit. Music time.
But Jen couldn't break free.
I was addicted to it, so my body needed the cigarettes, something I didn't have control over.
She discovered vaping and now sees e-cigs as her emancipation.
Hey! Hey. Mwah.
We quit smoking, right?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of things this year.
We have.
In 1 year.
And it was quite the year. Cancer killed Jen's husband. She knew she had to kick her habit and save herself.
And I took the smallest drag and I looked out my front window. And there were my kids, whose dad had just died from cancer. And there was their mom standing in the driveway. Using something that is known to cause cancer. And I hated myself. I felt sick to my stomach. I couldn't believe that I was doing it to them, not just myself. And I said, never, ever, ever again. They'll kill you. Plain and simple, they will kill you.
It's an easy habit to hate, but a hard one to break. Canadians spend at least $10 billion a year on cigarettes. And each year, the healthcare cost to us all about $5 billion. The man I'm on my way to meet says the battle against big tobacco has not been won, not yet. Yes, all the taxes, health warnings, and bans have helped lower the number of smokers. But every year, about 37,000 Canadians will die for a smoke.
What do you think the legacy is of big tobacco?
The legacy is death. People think about smoking as yesterday's issue, but it's still one of the leading causes of death. Most people don't realize that more women in Canada die from lung cancer from smoking than from breast cancer. And so I always describe it as one of our biggest public health achievements in terms of the reduction in smoking, but also one of our most enduring public health failures because we still have 5 million people smoking in Canada.
So could the e-cigarette help those 5 million smokers?
Make clouds, not war.
Is this the new Marlboro country?
Do you think vaping is going to put cigarette smoking out of business?
I hope so. I hope so. I lost an aunt due to lung cancer, so it's kind of like a revolution, man, against these corporate cats, you know what I'm saying?
Well, bad news, guys. Those corporate cats are onto you.
There's a sweet smell in the air. I think it's the smell of money.
Big Tobacco's not trying to crush the industry. It's trying to crash the party.
Now the market for electronic cigarettes is smoking hot.
And analysts size the vaping industry at $2.5 billion, up from $1.7
$3 billion to $5 billion over the next 3 to 5 years.
Big Tobacco has big plans to grow its e-cig business. So I'm heading to England for a rare look inside one of the world's biggest cigarette makers.
It's top secret.
As Big Tobacco strikes back.
If we are part of the problem, then we should be part of the solution.
In many ways, smoking seems to be so dangerously outdated. Who still smokes? Well, about 1 billion people around the world. That's who. That's 1 billion lives in the crosshairs. How did we get here?
Light up a lucky, it's light up time.
Big Tobacco started building the foundation decades ago. Back in the old days, the TV ads didn't say anything about the risks of smoking.
Have a Camel with your coffee. Thanks.
Far from it.
Yes, folks, the pleasing mildness of a Camel is just as enjoyable to a doctor as it is to you or me.
Dangerous? Nah, they suggested smoking's actually good for you.
More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Light an oasis and you'll...
That was then, the golden age of cigarette advertising. Hire a few celebrities.
Give me a cigarette, will you, hon?
Don't say cigarettes, say Philip Morris.
Add a dash of product placement in pop culture.
Let's take a Winston break. That's it! Winston's got that built-up blend.
And make smoking the choice of strong, liberated women. Yep, smoking was all about freedom.
Marlboro country.
Of course, the Marlboro Man and all of its friends were banned from TV starting in the 70s. And it seemed like Big Tobacco was being beaten into a retreat. But are cigarette companies getting a second wind? I'm on my way to England to find out.
Please note this is a non-smoking flight and Air Canada also prohibits the use of these cigarettes.
A country where the number of smokers has now dropped to an all-time low. And where almost 3 million people now vape. I'm going to meet a scientist with a graphic warning why even more people should quit smoking.
David, I want you to explain this to me. What are we looking at here?
So this is a representation of the 100 or so toxicants that you find in cigarette smoke.
David O'Reilly has been researching smoking for 2 decades.
These are the toxicants that burning tobacco produces.
This chart lists dozens and dozens of dangerous toxins found in cigarettes. Like benzene, hydrogen cyanide, ammonia, cadmium, isoprene. It's a veritable circle of death. And you'll never guess where it is. On the floor of British American Tobacco, the world's second biggest cigarette maker.
It's disturbing to see this. And I wonder why you, as a tobacco company, have actually put this here.
This is a reminder of the reality, and that's why it's there on the floor. This is what we have to deal with.
As smokers switch to e-cigarettes, British American Tobacco has a choice. Let the parade pass them by or join in.
So everybody who's working in here is working on developing these new products?
BAT joined in. big time. It's the first tobacco company to release an e-cig in the UK.
It's top secret. This is where a lot of the next generation products are envisaged and created.
And that's just the start.
So here we are in one of our labs.
Sure, the company still sells billions of cigarettes in more than 180 countries.
This is the new generation.
This is the new generation. It's all happening here.
But now it's investing $800 million in what it calls tobacco harm reduction. But will it reduce harm, or just keep smokers hooked on a cleaner nicotine delivery device?
The machine will take regular puffs of a certain volume and duration at regular moments.
One puff at a time, it's old tobacco versus new technology. This machine simulates what goes into your lungs when you smoke.
This is, I find, fascinating looking at these two samples here.
Yeah, so this one is generated from a cigarette, and you can see this brown tar. This is from one of our next generation vapor products, and you can see that it's clean.
Staggering.
Well, that's when you take away combustion, this is what you get.
The dirty truth of cigarettes revealed.
This is the residue that's left from the traditional tobacco cigarette. This is the residue that's left from the e-cigarette. Old cigarette, new cigarette.
Seems BAT is trying to turn over a new tobacco leaf, using the cleaner e-cig in a bid to rebrand its reputation. But hold on, isn't this the same company with the circle of death on its floor?
When you've got this here, and it's quite graphic, it just questions, why are you still making these cigarettes? Last year, British American Tobacco manufactured 600 billion cigarettes, when you know about all the dangers that are in them.
We've been a cigarette company for more than 100 years, and it's a legal product. We continue to sell it. Consumers still want cigarettes.
I know it's legal. You've shown us that there are safer alternatives to smoking, and yet you're still producing a product that's got all of these toxicants in them.
The health risks of cigarette smoking are well known. Every cigarette pack carries a health warning, and I think consumers understand the risks that they are taking by smoking cigarettes.
If you really cared about harm reduction for the public, you'd stop selling a product that contains all these known toxicants.
I don't think that's realistic. We do care about harm reduction. If we are part of the problem, as people see it, then we should be part of the solution.
Do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
You know why it's not always easy to trust tobacco executives when they say they care about harm reduction?
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
Because for decades, they misled the public about the dangers of smoking. That's why.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
So can we really believe they're now in the business of saving lives?
You seem to be playing both sides of the street here. That you say, well, we want to be part of the solution. But you are part of the problem in a massive way. Do you accept that responsibility?
We accept that responsibility. That's why we are investing heavily in the research and development of safer tobacco and nicotine alternatives. And what we want to do is to offer those smokers those safer choices.
But you've seen yourself, the old tobacco executives who sat around and said that smoking isn't addictive and smoking isn't dangerous. You've seen the history. How do you deal with that now?
All I can say is judge us on our actions today. I can't change the past. I wasn't there in the past. I don't want to account for it. What I want is that people look at me and my generation in 10, 20, 30 years' time and said, yeah, those guys did the right thing.
This is an ad for BAT's e-cigarette. Maybe they haven't come a long way, baby. Addictive? Nah, look at these young, healthy people. Vaping, it seems, is all about freedom.
Pure satisfaction for smokers. Vibe e-cigarettes. Experience the breakthrough.
Sound familiar? Seems like there's a new Marlboro man in town.
I've been a smoker for 20 years, and I just found the smarter alternative. Blue e-cigs.
In the US, big tobacco companies are back on the airwaves.
We're all adults here. It's time we take our freedom back. Come on, guys. Rise from the ashes.
Because ad bans don't apply to e-cigarettes. Welcome back, celebrity endorsement.
I'm Jenny McCarthy, and I finally found a smarter alternative to cigarettes, Blue e-cigs.
Welcome back, product placement.
Do you mind me smoking? It's not a real cigarette. Smoke is water vapor. Yeah, water.
Welcome back, strong, smoking women. Welcome back, big tobacco. Tobacco companies aren't in the e-cig business in Canada yet. So what's in store for us?
I mean, Canada right now, it's, people talk about Wild West. It's a natural experiment in public health.
As Health Canada considers regulating e-cigarettes, lives are hanging in the balance.
I don't believe there's many Canadians out there that want to keep smoking. I think that if they were given a way to quit, they probably would.